You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
And welcome to the Yankees-Tigers Game 1 Doubleheader Postgame Edition for Monday, June 4th, 2018. I'm Taylor Phillips, flying solo. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Also listen to us on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes, whichever feed you're listening to. Let's get right to it.
That one is long gone!
The New York Yankees score 6 runs in the 4th inning and survive a 9th inning comeback. No thanks to that stupid rally goose anyway, who has now lost 2 straight. So have the Tigers. 7-4 is the final score. The Yankees win it. Luis Severino was good as usual. Was great as usual. He improves to 9-1. 8 innings pitched, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 4 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts, a 2.20 ERA. Well, let's check his whip for a second here. This is the post-game edition of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast. It's still stuck at 0.97. It'll change later on. I'll give you his updated whip later on in Game 2 of the postgame. But anyway, Drew Verhagen got rocked as expected. Drops to 0-2, 3 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. His ERA has rapidly risen to 9.22. And forget his whip. It's pretty high too. Aroldis Chapman got his 14th save simply by facing only one batter, and that's Victor Martinez. And Chapman fanned him, although Victor gave him quite a battle by fouling off a few pitches right before swinging and missing for the final third strike of the game. The Tigers now fall to 3 games back of the AL Comedy Central Division lead, which is claimed by the Cleveland Indians, who are still 30-28. This is the only afternoon game that was played, and the Indians have off completely today. The only other team in the American League Comedy Central that's playing it is the Kansas City Royals, but they don't play until 10:07 in Anaheim against the Los Angeles Angels. Tigers are also 8.5 games back of the wild card spots. Their record is 28-32. Game 2. Let me see here. Let's look at Game 2 here on the MLB at-bat mobile app. Domingo German, 0-3, 5.45 ERA. Mike Fiers, 2 quality starts previously, still 4-3 with a 4.45 ERA. on paper still statistically pretty much even with high ERAs and high WHIPs. Their records don't matter as much. This is an upcoming game tonight in Game 2 of the doubleheader that could go either way. Here, James McCann fully expecting to play as a designated hitter in the nightcap, or not designated hitter, but the doubleheader nightcap, full time as a catcher. Actually, McCann's not a DH; he's just a catcher. My bad. So James McCann will play full time catcher tonight in the doubleheader nightcap tonight. Baez will be the 26th man for the doubleheader. That's it's Sandy Baez from Double-A Erie, the Seawolves. He had an 0-4 record with a 3.90 ERA in 10 outings. That is this year for Erie. It's not good. So that's today and tonight. Going to the MLB Draft, which begins tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. The Tigers are on the clock, and we have an update from our good old friend Jeff Moss, the founder and editor-in-chief of the Detroit Sports Rag, saying the Tigers are not considering Joey Bart, which may be a stunt to negotiate a deal with Auburn right-handed pitcher Casey Mize, which is who the Tigers are expected to pick, and it's who we want to pick. It's who everyone wants to pick if they're following the draft very well. The other rumor is the Tigers are also looking at Jared Kalenic. No word on what position he plays, but it's still best to get Casey Mize nonetheless. So those are the things. That's the other thing. That's the other thing you need to know. Moss is also tweeting about Bill Keenist. You can follow him on Twitter at least temporarily at DET Sports Rag, DET Sports Rag for the Detroit Sports Rag. The recent history of the Tigers having the worst record in baseball. One year, it was the NL's turn to have the first pick, so we got Tony Clark second. Some guy named Chipper Jones went first. Then we took a closer, and now rumors of a catcher. Forget this organization. Now more Bill Keenist stuff. Regarding his Bill Keenist tweet yesterday, there was a reason he phrased the tweet the way he did. He said the rumor around Allen Park was Keenist's departure had something to do with the Patricia story. He didn't say it was a fact, but he is demoted nonetheless. There was speculation. May I add? There was speculation among some that the timing was convenient. The internal letter announcing the Keenist change was sent on Friday, May 18th. The Detroit News story was posted on May 9th. In the history of the DSR, breaking the news that Bill Keenist was no longer the Lions Cesara propaganda is only topped by Justin Spiro of Spiro Avenue, getting the story of a former member of the DSR, getting the story of Drew Sharp's plagiarism. Good Pizza Eater replied to him, "Does this involve them being cheap?" Moss quoted and said, "No, I don't believe the draft has anything to do with money. They want to be able to sign guys in other rounds that might go to college if they don't get the top dollar. So the more they save with the first pick, the more they can save in other rounds." That regards the Tigers. Then Moss replied to Tony Paul, "I mean, they could have contended in the AL Central this year if Ilitch would have done what his dad, that's Chris Ilitch, would have done what his dad Mike would have done and spent $50 or $60 million in free agency while staying under the luxury tax and doing nothing to hamper the rebuild. So it's not that far-fetched." That's all you need to know from Jeff Moss at the Detroit Sports Rag, the founder and editor-in-chief thereof. Follow him on Twitter, at least temporarily, at Det Sports Rag, DET Sports Rag. Like his Facebook page, view his website. Very provocative, but very comprehensive. His Facebook page, DetroitSportsRag.com. Same as the URL website. So, I'm Taylor Phillips, flying solo. And before I sign off, I want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because I want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is searching for a wider audience that is fans of sports, especially our teams in the state of Michigan. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, via iTunes, its Facebook page, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Personally, I'll get you to share this episode and the entire podcast as well. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.